Okay, you guys, I'm back. Like I said, I am just getting used to this YouTube thing. Who is on here? I wanted to get on here, like I said earlier, and talk about the death of young Dolph here in Memphis and how it has his death has affected Memphians and more bloodshed. And I'm kind of speaking from a perspective of um, working for the police department for so many years, and also now um, being a private investigator. And so, the first thing I want to say is his death is extremely sad, and I kind of want to hear you all's comments um, because I know everybody is still just devastated, and me for one. Um, I didn't listen to a lot of his music, but I've been looking at like a lot of the things that he was doing for the community. And here's the thing: I always go to Makita's cookie shop over there on Airways and Ketchum. They have some of the best cookies that the those buttered sugar cookies that we used to get in school many moons ago. So that people love that shop, and it is over there in the hood. And um, and so, like I said, people are still just devastated with how cold the murders were. And so I'm gonna give some people some time to come into the room, um, because I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this because there has been more bloodshed, and the sad thing about it is there's probably going to be more. And at this point, I do believe that they know who did this. Um, but me myself, I'm kind of in fear. I'm in fear for the families of whoever committed these crimes, because it's not their fault, it's not their fault. And people fear retaliation. So I kind of want to talk about that. I was working with StreamYard so that I got to get used to this. And because I kind of want to bring people in. And I know that I can't do that right now because I'm not on StreamYard. Um, because I want to see your faces and I want to hear what you got to say. Um, yeah. So that's kind of why, like I said, I've been having some difficulty because I do have StreamYard and I was trying to figure out how to work it. But yeah, with Young Dolph's murder, I was trying to wait to give some more people some time to come in. Like I said, with his murder, it has been extremely devastating. And I was thinking about just everything that has happened. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist or anything like that. I do believe that, I mean, everybody can see because they attempted to kill him a few times before. And I think we need to listen to what his friend had said also, about if Young Dolph, and I can't remember his name, Young Dolph had told him, man, 4 days before, man, I think I'm getting too much money. I'm tapping into the too much money. If anything happens to me, I want you to go live. So hopefully nothing happens to him. Um, and nothing probably will happen to him. I think it was more so of jealousy what has happened to Dolph. And it's sad because it's going to end up being, even though the smaller people will probably end up falling first, I think it's going to be bigger than what people would ever know if they don't kill off all of the players. Because a lot of times, if there are hits put on people, um, p- these younger these young men don't understand. If it starts to get too hot after they take a job and kill somebody, whoever hired them will put a hit out on them to make sure that they don't talk. And there was just a lot of messiness in Dolph's murder. It was just messy anyways. Um And so people are already talking. And I know people was kind of talking about the young man who was killed 2 doors down from where the car was found. And they were saying that they think that he was killed because he told where the car was, and that could be so, but I'm thinking that he was killed because he probably knows what happened, and maybe they thought that he was the weakest link and they killed him. So that's what I say about more bloodshed. I think it's going to be more, and it's going to look like it came from Dolph's camp, but I really don't think that it is. I've heard that one of the killers is already, you know, more than likely gone, because the young man that was there with Dolph, young Dolph, was his little brother. I'm being told that was his little brother standing there with him. And if you ask me, he received a lot of flack, but he kind of acted fast. He kind of acted fast. If he was able to run out of there after they shot that place up like that to get that gun, and then get back behind that car as fast as he did. And I'm being told that he did let off some rounds, and that somebody shortly after that was dropped off at the hospital. A male black, unidentified male black, was dropped off at the hospital, just dropped off. Um, they don't know who dropped him off, and then he succumbed to his wounds. So like I said, one of them is more than likely. It is believed that one of them is already gone, and so that's why I know, like with the police department and working there for so many years, they cannot give out certain information. And at this point, I think they're trying to protect innocent people too. For the life of me, I can't understand why so many people are wanting to claim that they did this to him. Like, it's really weird. I'm trying to see. I see that there's one person in the chat, and I was trying to do StreamYard because I wanted to I wanted people to come on and talk and give their feelings about what's going on, but I don't know how to bring you in. And I think you have to have StreamYard in order to bring somebody in on your live. So what I may have to do is, because I want it to be open discussion, because I do want, I live here. I was born and raised here in Memphis, so I know that area extremely well. Up until I was a certain age, until I was a teenager, about 12, 13 years old, I grew up in South Memphis. But you're talking about, I'm doing well, Tony. But you're talking about South Memphis, like you're talking about South Memphis, like back in the early 90s, where there was still some form of respect. Airways and Ketchums is considered like a South Memphis, or yeah. That's kind of like around the Beanhampton area, the Castelia area. um I just wish that with young Dolph, what a lot of young men don't understand is that you can, especially living here in Memphis and knowing how Memphis, a lot of these people are here in Memphis. Memphis right now at this point in time is a impoverished city, and I don't care how much you give, sometimes it's just not enough, because oftentimes people want to live your life. They want your life and they want all of your money. I was listening to an interview that Dolph had done, and he was saying that, some of the dudes that he had grown up with, he said sometimes people feel like, just because you come up on a few millions, you're supposed to drop them off like 500,000. He said it had gotten to a point where he was like, "Man, are you serious? Like, are you bullshitting or are you for real?" He said, I have to ask them that. I have to look at them and go, like, are you for real? Like, are you BSing? And so he said a lot of times they are for real. And you're talking about young men who have dreams of, or aspirations. They're living in poverty, and then they are around. What people don't understand is when young men like that, who have probably not had the best influence, I'm talking about in the area that Dolph is in, because I know the area very well. Okay, so you get to hang around. Yeah, that poverty mindset is ridiculous. You start hanging around People like the Dolls, people like different rappers that are nationally known here in the Memphis area, that are nationally known all around the country. Okay, so if you can get into those circles, because a lot of some of those rappers still intertwine in those circles, so they'll get in your ear. You want to get in, you want to be in, because you're easily influenced. You will do anything that they tell you to do. And I'm telling you now, from working for the police department for 18 years, and now I have started my own private investigative company, I know what happens. Our young men are going to have to be influenced another way. We're gonna have to find another way to influence them, okay? Because they just don't understand. They are allowing the TV and everything else, because, and I'm not talking about, mama, because most black families here in Memphis, it's not a two-parent household. It is a one-parent household, and mama is working two and three jobs to make ends meet. So um the oldest child is the one that's taking care of the siblings. He's raising the siblings. He's a child himself, and they're looking at TV all day. So the TV and the hood is raising them, because the majority of them live in these hoods that Dolph lived in. So they see Dolph come over there and he's shining like new money. He baited up out the hood. Okay, they start to feel some kind of way. Sometimes you just have to stay away and give to your community, but you have to find another way, because like I said, I know the mindset. Maybe you have to go through a middle person. I was looking at Dolph, being, just knowing how it is being a private investigator myself, and whoever that was recording him like that, it brings up concern to me. We need more lawyers, judges, law enforcement who are black instead of being a rapper. That mindset keeps us back when the same system is ran. We do. We need to teach our kids about being more than just rappers and basketball players. Get back into teaching them. See, there are a lot of kids that are not even going to school. They're not. They are able to drop out at an early age. And so they think about Dolph's story. Dolph talk about how he was born to two parents who was on crack. His grandmother raised him, but he was able to make, you know, nothing into something. And then you have to think about Dolph looked up, because I was looking at his girlfriend's, his wife's, um page, Mia J. I think her name is Mia J. And she had like a podcast. She was a very smart young lady. She was a very smart young lady. She would do like podcasts on doing business tax and ways to make your money grow. And she's just a educated, brainy young lady. She was very intelligent. So I'm sure with her being there, she was very influential on helping him to get his business right. You see what I mean? So, I was thinking about how Dolph said some people at a record label from here in Memphis, and I don't want to say their names. I was looking at an interview. He said they had asked him to sign with their label. Now, these were his words, and he said that he actually turned it down because they offered him a certain amount of money. And he said, I had already made that myself out on the pavement for myself. And so supposedly that's where that particular beef came from with him and Gotti. Now, those were his words. I don't know. And I'm not saying that Gotti's camp had anything to do with it. I'm just saying, you know, they tried to kill him, whoever, two or three times before. And they actually shot him twice and he survived. I think he, even though you got family here, you want to give back. Dolph had enough money. I'm sure they said he employed a lot of African Americans. He had enough money to and you want to do certain things in your hood. I promise you do. You want to identify with your people, because these are the people you came up with. But unfortunately, when you start making money, that green that it turns into that green eye monster. Some of them can, and they become extremely envious. And they go, well, I came up with this dude. How come he can't give us more of what he got? And when it's all said and done, I know that it's going to be about jealousy and beef. But unfortunately, what we're trying to do now, because it's like the quiet before the storm. You talk about, I was talking to some of my friends over at the PD, and they said we it's just it's kind of so quiet now that it's scary. And then when it do come out who was actually behind this, we don't want more innocent people to lose their lives, because it's kind of like, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it does happen, but hopefully it won't. Okay, you took our man down, so now we got to take your whole family down. We don't want anything like that. And so when they had a memorial for him about 2 or 3 days ago, some people was shooting out there. It's just a like a it's just like a sad time in Memphis right now. Emotions are all over the place. And you talk about that car that was found. Now, the car that was found, I'm being told, and I should have looked at this myself because I could have pulled it up, but I did see another person, a reporter who is pretty credible, say that the house that the car was found in is registered to Dolph's to is one of Dolph's properties. Now, Dolph was becoming a very business savvy businessman. Okay, if I said that right, he was becoming a very savvy businessman. Like I said, he had a young lady. His wife was extremely intelligent and smart. Okay, she did podcasts on business, and so on telling people how to start businesses and things of that nature. So if the house is one of Dolph's rental properties, and he allowed different rappers to go to that home and record like little local rappers, like rap videos and things of that nature, in front of that property, it makes me think, was that a decoy? Did they want that? Because that's an abandoned house. Did they want that car to be found? You know, did they want that car to be found? And that's what it seems to me, because it wasn't like it was really hidden or anything like that. What they did was they took their car and parked it in the back and then jumped into another car right after they shot the young man up. I'm almost sure that is what happened. But the thing is, why would you go take a car to a place that a lot of rappers frequent, and you know that the car is going to be found, of course. And we living here in Memphis, I can tell you, we have a lot of chop shops. So I'm sure the tags were not the tags that belong to the car, and the VIN number has probably been changed on the car. I was listening to someone else say that there is a well-known rapper who has the exact same car, that is a national rapper from here in Memphis, the exact same kind of car, the same class of Mercedes. I just can't see him allowing somebody, especially with what he has to lose, um, to use his car to go commit a murder. I just That's just hard for me to believe that he would do that. This was like a perfect crime. It was planned well. They've been plotting on him for a while. I can't imagine plotting on someone to death. Yeah, you know what? Like I was saying, the whoever it was that went live, okay, and was recording him when he was at the gas station. And if you look at him, he was kind of looking all around, and he seemed like he was watching his surroundings, but he never did look back over his shoulder. That kind of bothered me. Um, that kind of bothered me. It could have been a fan, but I don't know about that. They was very quiet. They didn't walk up to him and ask him if they could have an autograph or anything like that. They just kind of recorded him while he was at the gas station, and it was almost like they was trying to they was trying to secretly do it. They didn't want him to see him recording them. Most people, when they're excited about their fans, they're fans of someone, they want them. They'll walk up to him, they're excited to see him. They'll run up to him. They'll have their cameras in their faces, want to take pictures. But it was almost like this person who was doing this wanted to hide that they was recording him, and they went live with him. And then that gas station is directly across the street from the cookie shop. Okay. So then moments later, I see how they parked the car. I see how they parked the car. And so if it was a hit like we're thinking, of course the people who hired these people to do it, I'm sure they didn't pay them directly. I'm sure that was a middleman, especially if they got somebody to got something to lose. Um, so they parked the car, that white car. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because I got so much stuff going through. Y'all, I have been ever since this murder happened. Like my mind has been racing like a hamster on a pinwheel because that's what I do crime all the time. Like looking at the crime scene and things of that nature. Now, when they pulled in, it was definitely an ambush, okay? Nothing beats an ambush. They stopped and got out on the other side of Dolph's car. They did not pull directly up in front of the cookie shop because a dolphin them would have recognized, they would have looked up to see their car. You see what I mean? They got out where Dolph and his brother couldn't see them, and then they ambushed them completely. And according to the owner of the cookie shop, they was looking down in their phones. So maybe he never even saw it coming. But the thing about it is with the weapons that they was firing off, nobody else was hurt. Dolph's brother, I'm told, was standing right there directly next to him. He wasn't hurt. Um, so they came right into, somebody set him up, of course. Like I said, I believe it was a pay hit, and they took him down. And when it's all said and done, it's because of jealousy and greed. Um, Mainly just because of jealousy. You know, sometimes people feel like it's not enough for everybody, for everybody, when it absolutely is. You talk about young African American men that are making millions of dollars, and sometimes people feel extremely territorial. um you know, you're gonna kill somebody because of a beef, you know, whoever it was. Like I said, they tried to kill him 2 or 3 times before. So yeah, I think it's only just the beginning. Nothing should ever want you to take someone out. That's true. Imagine if they took the same energy to build something instead of yes. And the thing about it is this young man, you're right, happily, Ann. This young man was buying properties in areas that are impoverished, where there was vacant properties and things of that nature, and fixing these properties up and reselling them at an affordable price. He was helping his community, rental properties, renting them at an affordable price, helping his community. What more can you ask for? And you take him down for whatever reasons. And there are a lot of rumors out there, you know, at this point. You know, I think even when, if the killers are caught alive, because at this point, because the heat is so hot, I think whoever hired them and sent them is going to knock them off. And then it's, you know, and that's a sad thing. And that's what these young men don't understand. People who hire you to do these hits, if it gets too hot, they will off you. And they don't even understand that, you know. Um, and then you see some of these young men on the internet, they basically give themselves away. Yep, they basically give themselves away with a lot of the chanting that they do, you know. And then you talk about Soulja Boy. Now, I think Soulja Boy don't understand, and I hate this, that there's gonna be a price to pay for some of the things that he has said. Some rappers had a mentality of staying in the hood with the thought of keeping their enemies close. They probably think if they distance themselves too far removed from the hood, people will plot. Yeah, I think Dolph had moved out of Memphis. He was only back here in Memphis to he was only back here in Memphis to give out his annual Thanksgiving turkeys, you know. And I think they knew he was coming because this is something that he had been doing. A few days before, he had went and visited the West Cancer Clinic. He went there and talked to some other patients and gave out some stuff there and did some donations there. I think he gave about 20, donated like 20 or $25,000 to the West Cancer Clinic. here in Memphis because his grandmother and he said some of his relatives had died of cancer, you know. So he went there and he did that. He was in a position to give. And I think that some people, and I don't want to be accusatory, God knows I don't. I think that with some people, you think about Dolph, okay, who they thought was the underdog. But then he made some really good business moves. And even if he wasn't as famous as some of the famous rappers here in Memphis, he probably had more money because he made smart business moves. And that probably I'm hearing didn't sit too well with some people because you think about I think about Soulja Boy got on his live and he said that Dolph got mad because he wasn't independent, you know. And you think about that, like, why should Soldier Boy anybody care about if Dolph is 100% independent or not? That's what I say about jealousy. I mean, what kind of concern was it of his? But obviously, he had a problem with Dolph saying that he was in a full independent artist, and Dolph was making a lot of money because they said that the day after he died, his streams generated $20 million, and all 20 million of those dollars, 100% of them would go to his children. So he learned the business, and so he may not have been as famous as some of the famous ones, but more famous ones here in Memphis. But it's looking like he had more money, and that may have been a problem, you know, because most real businessmen will say, hey, you can keep the fame, give me the money. And that's how most Black people need to start thinking. Instead, a lot of Black people want the fame and they don't think about the business part until later. They are here and they got the fame and they go get them a lease car, and then they're still broke. So I have to salute a brother who took it up on himself, and he had the right people around him to tell him learn the business part of it. And that's what he was doing, you know. That's what he did, you know. So yeah. But like I said, I think this is just only the beginning because, like I said, I was reading on another young man's, well, not reading, he actually was talking about it, another reporter here in Memphis, that one of the shooters, and I'm sure he talked. I didn't ask my source. I didn't. If they don't tell me certain things, I won't ask them, because when it gets out, I don't want them to say, you know, I told you. I don't like for people to ask me that. But like I said, because I work for the police department, I do have a lot of friends over there, and I just don't ask certain questions. Um, but there is another reporter who kind of has the same access as I do as far as getting information that said that he heard that one of the shooters are already dead, because when Dolph's little brother was shooting at the car, and I know in the picture you could not, you know, in the picture you cannot see. I mean, because the officers, the detectives and stuff, they already got the videos. They've gotten the videos and things of the nature from the different areas, different angles and things of that nature. And it appears that Dolph's young brother was shooting up high, because people were saying, well, why didn't he just spray the car and shoot the car up? Well, I think he was shooting the windows out and he kind of aimed up high, and evidently he shot. It is a rumor, and it came from a reliable source, that he actually hit one of the shooters, and the shooter was, I mean, one of the shooters was shortly dropped off. But they're keeping that quiet, because if they release the name of the person, because I'm sure they got the name by now, if they release the name of the person, then that person's family could ultimately be hurt. You see what I mean? But I'm hearing rumors that one of the shooters is already dead, and it did come from a reliable source, because they get their information from from the police department, just like I do. So that's why I tell people, be very cognizant of what you believe as far as news media. I worked for the police department for 18 years. I know that the news media tell lies. There's certain information that the police department just cannot release to the news media. When we used to be, I was working in a certain division, where it was nothing but felonies and murders that came through. When the news media would find out about that there was a murder, they would be calling the police department begging, saying, "We got to go on live in 10 or 15 minutes." They would be begging, "Please tell us, can you give us any information? Can you give me the name of who it was? Can you tell us what happened? If y'all don't tell us what happened, then we just gonna have to fill in the blanks for ourselves." So that's why when I would be sitting there at work and then I would get home and I'm looking at the news and the names were completely wrong. The information was a lot of the information was completely jacked up. Um, I, to this day, I really don't look at the news now. I just don't. If I want to know something, and it's getting depressing with all of the murders that's happening in Memphis. Poverty ignites crime, but that's another story. But it's just kind of getting kind of sickening, but the news does not make it any better with their lies, and people don't know any better, so they just kind of take it and run with it. They'll give out the wrong name, and then sometimes the police department will give the news media the wrong information, and they do that purposely because if somebody comes in with the right information, they'll know that they didn't just get it from the news media, right? They'll know, okay, well, this is a person that really knows something about the crime, knows something about what happened, because we didn't release this information. As a matter of fact, we released the wrong information on purpose. So I think in this case, they already know what has happened and people are being protected. The young man who the young man that was killed yesterday, who they claim was killed because he told where the car was, I don't think that's why he was killed. I think he was killed for another reason. I believe that he was killed because he knows what happened, and they probably felt like he was the weakest link, and he would tell, and they killed him. They offed him, and that's sad. And unfortunately, whoever it's going to be a whole lot more, and that's sad to say. But my hope is whoever it is at the top that has orchestrated this, those are the ones that need to be taken down. In my opinion, whoever they are, and I don't know who they are, and I won't say at the top. I'll just say whoever it is, that's paying, doing the payments. You know, those are the ones that need to be gotten, in my opinion. Instead, a lot of the ones, even the shooters, the smaller ones, they'll take the heat, and the people that are orchestrating this will unfortunately probably won't be touched. And that's sad, because the ones at the top, they will start taking out the ones even that they've paid to do this when it gets too hot, because they'll go, we just got to go and get rid of him. And that's what hurts me so bad about, you talk about young African American men who are trying to make a difference, young African American men who are misled. And then you have African American men who are in positions now to help to guide them if they truly wanted to help their community. Instead, they misguide them because they know they long for acceptance. Okay. They know they long for acceptance. And that's one of the things that pisses me off extremely bad. They know that these young men are longing for acceptance. They are poverty stricken, and they're looking to belong. Okay. They want to belong to something, especially something big, and they misguide them. They destroy their lives completely. And that's why I say whoever it is that's doing that's at the top need to be taken down. I'd be happy with that, just that, because then we have truly solved the problem. Because trust me when I tell you, if they paid to have Dolph killed, it's not the first time that it has happened. I never followed Dolph's career. I just used to read about his beef with Gotti. Well, yeah, yeah. I never understood that beef. I never understood it. Two men from Memphis who beat the odds, making millions of dollars, and they gonna beef. I don't. I just. I can't. I can't understand that one, y'all. I can't understand it. But as I said, I'm almost sure that the police know what has happened. It's just that they're trying to find a way right now to secure it, to make sure that families are safe. I'm talking about innocent bystanders, okay? Because we can't help who our family members are. They're usually born into the family. We can't help it when they make stupid mistakes. You know, supposedly he and Gotti had squashed that beef. I don't know. I've never really heard anything bad about Dolph in the media. As far as I never heard anything bad about him either. He just seemed like a quiet, laid back young man. One of my friends said that, because I have a local TV show, and one of my friends was telling me that she walked into one of the hot wing shops one day, maybe about a year or so ago, and she said that she didn't know who Dolph was either. Okay, so her children knew, and she said that he was sitting in the hot wing shop, this hot wing shop called Debo's, and she said this tall, dark skinned guy walk up to her and say, "Ma'am, if you listen to my album, I'll pay for your food." And she said she told him, "Okay." And so she said he told her, "Order whatever you want." And she said her food came up to $50 and he paid for it. And she said he told her, "Now the only thing I want you to do is listen to my album and then tell everybody else about my album." And she said that she remembered just telling everybody. So he understood. I was listening to his wife, because that's the type of stuff that she's into, like marketing and business and average stuff like that. He's understood that promotion and advertising and giving back was a gold mine. you know um and I think through that, especially doing that, like while he was kind of crawling a little, and then he was able to learn the business pretty quick and own all of his stuff. I can't understand. Like I said, I hope whomever Soldier Boy's managers are, you would think Soldier Boy talk about all the money that he has, and I'm sure he has a lot of money, but I can't understand why they're not telling him to shut up. Because I would hate to see anything happen to him. But um I was looking at the young men that they're accusing of Dolph's murder. Soldier Boy jumped on their live. Now these are local rappers that nobody knows. Nobody knew until people started accusing them of Dolph's murder. And Soldier Boy randomly just jumps on their live. That's I don't know. It's kind of weird. I think a lot of these drugs and stuff that they're on now, the police don't really have to do a whole lot. That's why I say, that's they already know. They already know. Sound like the new, yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah, he doing too much. I hate, to see. I hate for anything to happen to Soldier Boy. I do, because I think he's probably on some kind of narcotic. And I was listening to him. I listened to what I am a licensed investigator. Okay, so I listen to people quite a bit. That's what I'm paid to do. Um, he made a mistake and slipped up. See, they talk too much. And when he started trying to backpedal, when people, started getting on top of his head about some of the stuff that he was saying, and then he said, "Well, why people, wanna blame me for something I have nothing to do with. They were the ones that got into my life. They was the ones that said something to me. If they had never said anything to me, none of this stuff ever would have happened." I think that was a slip up. What did he mean if they had not said anything to him? None of this stuff never. They had kept their mouth closed. None of this stuff would have happened. What is he talking about? Yeah. Oh, you know what? Thank you for watching my a lot of my old cases. I'm in the process right now. Like I said, I've been so busy. A lot of people have been asking me, when are you going to upload new shows and things of that nature? Because I do have a local TV show here in Memphis. Comes on in the Memphis, the Mississippi, and the Arkansas area, on Comcast. And because, like I said, I own a private investigative company. I've been extremely busy. Okay. And so I've started back doing my cold case shows because that's my passion, doing cold case shows and doing injustice shows. And on my injustice shows, I look into cases and try to work with attorneys and look into cases of where there is injustice. A lot of people don't know you can get a good attorney, but what makes a attorney good is a damn good private investigator. Some attorneys, depending on their budget, they have private investigators on their staff. I am a con. I work for myself. I have my own company, so they contract me because I don't want to go work for nobody but myself. I do take cases, and but for my TV show and some other stuff that you all are going to see that I upload to YouTube, I'll be taking you all on a journey on some of these cases that I'm looking into. A lot of these cold cases, reigniting them. I've been working on this cold case down, and you all are going to see that I'll upload probably in a couple weeks because I'm almost finished. I've been going back and forth to this city in Arkansas, and there was a young lady who went missing 28 years ago. Um, Unique Harris killer is in jail. I wish I was there. An update on the Phoenix coding. Okay, yeah, Unique's killer is in jail. And the thing about Unique's mother is she was very diligent in finding out what happened to her. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. A lot of people say that I don't get enough recognition. A lot of people don't understand that I was even contacted by some of the interviews that I did, especially like with the police chief of East St. Louis. That police chief would not give anybody else an interview, and I've been contacted by people like I believe it was Oxygen, because when Clashendra Hall's not Cla- no Phoenix Coden's mom, they actually did like a documentary on Phoenix's case, and Phoenix's mom, because I had worked with them, asked Oxygen to work with me. You got to go and research the names for updates. Yeah. I'm working on I slipped up and said that, but it is a case in Arkansas. The young lady has been missing for 28 years, and I think it's going to be some positive stuff to come out of that situation, because they have just a new administration in that city, and I'll be uploading it soon. Also, there's another murder that happened here in Memphis, and his name was Gerald the mechanic, and he was actually a very close friend of mine. He was killed back in March. Um, what happened was, to make a long story short, he was in bed asleep, according to his girlfriend. They were in bed, and he got a notification on his phone. He had a auto mechanic shop, one of the top rated ones here in Memphis. He had a TV show, and he also was on a very popular radio show, so he got a lot of business. And the last time I had talked to Gerald, because we would call and talk to each other, like we texted all the time, but we would talk a couple times a week. One of the last times I talked to him, probably about 4 days before his murder, I remember him saying to me, Tamara, I can't take any more clients because I'm making about 100 grand a month. I said, are you serious? He said, yeah, I can't take another car, because he had also started buying cars and fixing them, right? So on the area that Gerald's shop was in, there were a lot of car lots around that area. But because he was a handsome man, he was on TV, he was on radio, he had started getting a lot of business, all of the business basically, because there were other auto mechanic shops like next to him, on across the street from him. He was getting all the business because the women wanted to go to him, right? So his girlfriend said that they was laying in bed at about 4 o'clock one morning, that particular morning of March, because I remember, because my baby was born, my daughter my daughter's birthday is March the 5th. She said the morning of March the 6th, he get a notification on his phone that someone is on his lot over at his auto mechanic shop. And she said he jumps up and he goes, somebody is on the lot because there had been some burglaries, they say, where they were stealing Cadillac catalyst off of cars or something. She said he jumps up, he leaves his phone, and the shop is about 3 minutes from his home. So he goes around to his shop. And she said when she got there was a car pulling out of the driveway and it almost hits her. And it was dark still. And she goes looking for him and she finds him on the side of the building. He had been shot up. So they got some things on camera. When I first saw one of the suspects, when I looked at his shoes, when I looked at his stand, which is very distinct, um, I said that's a male white. I knew from how he was trying to cover up his hair. I knew because he had on a scarf and he had on a cap. He was trying to cover up the texture of his hair. What's my thoughts on the Phoenix Coldness case? My thoughts on the Phoenix Coldness case is, um, you know, a lot of people, there are a lot of theories, and I try to be careful with that case because I worked very closely with her mom and her father, and I don't ever want to say anything because Phoenix, her mother, still has hope, you know, as any parent should, that her daughter is going to walk back through that door one day. Okay. Um, as far as what I think, I do think that she was abducted. They're trying to say that she left, that she planned this. I don't think a 23-year-old girl would have to plan anything. She was 22, 23 at the time. She could have walked out the door. She didn't have to sneak and leave. There was rumors that she was pregnant and she didn't want her parents to know. She was 22 years old. So it would have been believable if her truck had not been found in an area in East St. Louis, Illinois, which is right over like how Mississippi is to us, like 2 minutes away. Um, if it had not been found in East St. Louis with the engine running and all of her things still in the car with the door open, like somebody did something to her and took the car and just left it there. Okay. That's what I think. I think that whatever happened to her, somebody hurt her wherever when she pulled out of her driveway, she went to meet somebody. I think something happened and then they took her car and left it there. Okay. Um, but the thing about it is, at that time, especially during that time, the East St. Louis area there was a hub for human trafficking. It was horrible. I'm not so sure that law enforcement was not in it at the time. I don't know. I don't know. So I agree as a parent that Mike's boyfriend was involved. I just wonder why they took her. Well, there was a young lady that sang in the choir with Phoenix, okay? And I know I might have to change the heading because we just got open the conversation. We're talking about everything on here. We've moved from young Dolph to something else. But there was a young lady that that sang in the choir with Phoenix that says that, like a few years later, she was on an airplane and they saw Phoenix and they walked up to her and called her name. And she was like, I'm sorry, do you think you know me? And they said, of course we know you, Phoenix. So, you know, but yeah. What I'll do is I'll get back on here and talk about that. I kind of got on here to talk about young Dolph. I don't want people to say she's jump subject, and just to talk about, the crime here in Memphis and the aftermath. And there has still been some bloodshed here in Memphis. Um, but what I'll do is, yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get back on and talk about those documentaries, and talk about the updates, because I do have a lot of updates coming. I think you all are going to be very interested in Clashendra Hall's case. You know, I have been personally investigating that case, and a few more cases. Gerald Stewart's case, his cold case, and there are a few more cases. Let me tell you about the Sweetie Pies case right quick. Look at me jumping subject again. The Sweetie Pies case, right before Tim was arrested, one of my friends who lives in Texas, one of my friends who lives in Texas contacted me and said, he said, I was in meditation, and one of my friends had a brother that was killed in St. Louis. He said, and he was killed a few years back. Now, this was like late last year. He said he was killed in St. Louis and they want to hire a private investigator. He said, I was in meditation and God told me to give them your number. He said, do you mind them calling you? I said, no, I don't. So I remember I was sitting here like I'm sitting here now, because I'm normally sitting here reading cases or doing case notes or something like that. And my phone ring and it says Lambert, Texas. I can't think of Labat, Texas or something. And I almost didn't answer it, and it was about 11 o'clock at night. But I was like, I got curious. And she was like, I was giving you a number. I was told you was a private investigator. My son was killed. And before she ever even told me who her son was, when she started talking about he went to St. Louis, I sent him to St. Louis to go work for his grandmother at a restaurant so he could have a better life. Um, I knew at that point, before she ever even said anything, that yeah, Lubbock, Texas. Before she ever even said anything, that she was talking about Andre. And I'm so happy that I did not, and she reached out to me again, because I told her, I said, well, because we talked for about 2 hours, and I said it would be, yeah, Andre's mom. I said it would be better if you got an investigator in the St. Louis area. And she said, well, I don't really trust an investigator in the St. Louis area. I said, because me going back and forth from Memphis to St. Louis is gonna really cost you. And she said, okay, but I want to hire you. Absolutely. That is the news media's only job is propaganda and sensationalism. You're absolutely right about that, Jake. That is their only job. And y- I think it's a shame too, Jake, because what they do is they tell lies and they get the people hyped up. They get the people emotional. And then they go out there and they kill some more based on lies that the news have put out there into the atmosphere. It really should be against the law. They mislead people, get them emotional so that they continuously look at the news media so that they can get the advertisement and the money that they make from the ratings. And then they mislead the people and get them emotional. And that's why people go out and do some of the things that they do. Oh wow, you said I love that show and met Tim when he came to Dallas and took a pic with him. I was so surprised. But yeah, you're right. And so hopefully the police, and I was going to say hopefully the police department will, because there are always leaks, okay? There are always leaks, but I'm going to tell you something. Because I worked for the police department for so long, it is more important to me, even with me having a TV show and people saying, well, I know, even when I was working over there and doing still doing my TV show, people, I had information firsthand because I was there, but I never leaked any information. I never sold any information because it was always important to me. I cared more about the case rather than being the first to drop information. If you give out information too quick, it will ruin the case. And that's what people fail to realize. I care more about the case being solved, because when you see those families and stuff come through there and they are torn up and you see and hear about what has happened to their loved ones, all you want is justice for them. And the way people get mad at people because they say they're snitches and things of that nature, those very same people don't feel that way when it is their relative. That's what I can't understand. When it is their relative, it is a different tune. So y'all, like I said, we gotta it's gotta be we gotta get better leaders within the Black community. It's time to start grooming and raising up some new leaders that's going to be bold, that's going to be strategic. Because you talk about Dr. King and people like that, Malcolm X, they was organized, they were strategic, and they got results. They understood what it took. And what surprises me is you have people like, other than maybe Minister Farrakhan, um, you had people like Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton and people like that. They was around during the time of Dr. King's era, but they still have they have not they did not give the African Americans to come the blueprint of keeping that legacy going, of being strategic, of instead, in my opinion, I think they just kind of sold out some. Well, you don't talk about this, you don't talk about that. They let them erase our history. Um, it's just, it's. I think the state of the state of how our people are now is extremely sad. With us allowing them to erase history and things of that nature. I'm thinking about now a lady a civil rights activist from here out of Memphis, and it's a nonprofit organization, and my dad is opening up a women's museum. And this lady's name is Cornelia Crenshaw, okay? An African American lady who led a movement here in Memphis, Tennessee, and she was written out of history, okay? This lady was strong, she was bold, she got out and she fought. At one point, Miss Crenshaw was a part of that system. She was a Black lady, but they allowed her in. She was kind of a part of that system that kept Black people oppressed, because some people take the jobs and they take the money and they keep their mouth closed. That's a part of keeping Black people oppressed, when you know what it takes. Because I think a lot of Black people a lot of us want to do better. We just don't know how. We don't know. They'll say, well, the grants are out there. Well, hell, they don't know how to go fill out grants. They don't even know where to go look because they keep it so hidden. And the people that know sometimes are too afraid to tell you because they're scared they're gonna take theirs. Or they're just jealous and scared you're gonna get ahead of them. Because that's the mindset of a lot of our people. And we gotta change that. But Miss Crenshaw, she led the movement for the sanitation workers. She was the woman that got Dr. King here to Memphis to lead the strike for the sanitation workers. She is the reason right now that African Americans here in Memphis can make partial payments on their light bills, because the poor people were sitting in the dark and could not pay their light bills because they did not have the money. And she got out and she fought the light company. And Memphis Light, Gas and Water right now had to put in policy that people be allowed, the citizens of Memphis can make partial payments on their light bills. She fought for that, and they wrote her out of history because she was a strong African American woman. They don't want Black girls to know that you can be classy, that you had an African American woman who fought, who was articulate, who was strong, who was bold, who was classy, and she got results. What they want is for our children to mimic this ratchetness and shaking their asses and all of that. That's what they want for the African American community. You think about Kim Kardashian and all of them. White girls don't mimic, and other races don't mimic the Kardashians. They were strictly marketed to the Black people, and we allow that to happen. They was marketed to the Black people. They appealed to the African Americans. You don't hear little white girls saying they want to be a Kim Kardashian. They ain't going and doing a lot of the things that Kim Kardashian and them do. But it is our community that is consistently being torn up. And for some reason, we take the bait And people get mad at me all the time because because I worked for the police department. I see, I know there are so many of us that have codependent personalities, and they're and, because we're always looking for something to get on a high or something like that to get away from problems that's going to be there when we come down off of that high. Black people are so intelligent, so gifted, so smart, and we allow people to hijack us for everything that we have. You think about young Dolph. Y- okay, so African Americans are singers and dancers. We've had so many, so you see they become famous, but somehow people have found a way to make all of the money off of our talent. And so you got somebody like young Dolph who was smart enough to have the talent and keep all of his money on his talent, off of his talent, which is the way that it should be. And people get jealous and send folks to kill him for that. And he's not the first person that has ever happened to. You right. You talk about Nipsey Hussle, the exact same thing kind of happened to him. But when it's all said and done with Dolph's murder, it's going to be about jealousy. And my hope is whomever sent those, whoever encouraged those young men, whoever paid them, it has to start from the top. I hope it starts from the top and trickle down. Because if we just get the young men who killed them and not get the people that sent them, that's still a travesty of justice. And trust me when I tell you, somebody sent them. If they had not got Dolph that day in Memphis, I think that they was going to get him at some point, because as his partner went live and said, Dolph said 4 days before he was killed, man, I'm making too much money, man. If anything happened to me, go live and say something. I'm making too much money, because he had walked into their record company. I can't think of the guy's name, and asked if he could buy the company, he was just making all kinds of money moves. Now, a lot of people saying the record label may have had something to do with it. I think whatever went on with him, it lies right around the heart of Memphis. That's the reason why they got him when they got to Memphis, and and it has something to do with everything that involves Memphis. When it's all said and done, okay, it's gonna be all things Memphis when it's all said and done. Empire. The young man was building an empire. So the good thing about it is, like I said, the police are on it. Um, the police are on it. I don't want to see any more bloodshed. But I do believe, like I said, who the people that sent those young men didn't know that it was gonna be as hot as it is. Like people was gonna jump on it and ride for Dolph like they are. And so I hope before whomever sent them pay somebody to go and get them. See, like I said, that's what the young men don't understand. The people that send you to do stuff like that, they don't care anything about you. And before they lose what they got, they'll have somebody to off you, although they paid you to go off Dolph. So um hopefully I'm from Dallas. MO3 was the Empire too. MO3 was the Empire. Hmm. What's MO3? I might be a little. All right, you guys, I've been on here for an hour, but I'll be getting on here more. What I plan to do is after I upload my documentaries, then I'll get on shortly after my documentaries, and we can chat and talk about, the cases, okay? Because that's what I do. MO3 Dallas rapper got killed last year. Wow. So he has started making a lot of money moves too, huh? And it seems like when they start making money moves and being more independent on their own, some people can't handle that. They don't want to see it, you know. They don't want to see it. Well, all right, you guys. Like I said, I'll be getting on more. What I wanted to do was I'm going to figure out how to use the StreamYard so that when we get on and we have conversations and things of that nature, um, I'll be able to see your face. I can stream you in. That's what I plan to do. I was trying to figure out how to do it tonight, but I didn't know how. And especially when you all start seeing my cold cases that I'm investigating. And like I said, I am a licensed investigator. I do have a PI company here in Tennessee. So that's mainly what I do during the day. And like for my TV show, I do find a case to investigate, look into and investigate and put it on. And I'll be just putting more up and bringing awareness to missing persons and more of the cold case homicides. Okay, yeah, just make a StreamYard account. You see, it's easy. Okay, well, y'all probably gonna have to, because I got a StreamYard account and I was trying to figure out how to do it, and I still was not doing it right. So y'all probably gonna have to walk me through it, child, so that I can have y'all on here and we can start getting a lot of these cases that I upload. We can start talking and start figuring out some of these cases. I want to hear y'all's opinions, because oftentimes I'm gonna tell y'all something. Police departments look at the internet and stuff all the time. A lot of time, like 80% of the time, they get their cases solved because they're listening to a lot of what people have to say, and they go and say, you know what, I didn't look into that. Maybe let me go check that out. And that is something we overlook. Well, maybe we do need to go talk to this person. You get a certain amount if of hours free, then you have to pay like 20 a month. Okay, because when I was on tonight, it kept saying record only, and I was trying to go live, but it wouldn't let me go live. Like it was just doing a recorded version for me to upload. So I'm gonna have to figure that setting out. But I would definitely get on here tomorrow, and we're gonna start talking about cases and things of that nature. Um, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start talking about a lot of these different cases that I work and different things within different communities, not just within Memphis, but within different communities, because that's what I want to do. All right, you guys, I'm gonna get off of here. It's only 9:46, but I've been on here for over an hour. It says link your YouTube page to StreamYard. That's what I did. I linked it to StreamYard, and it still was saying record and not live. I thought it was supposed to, because I even looked at a YouTube um, tutorial, and it was supposed to say live, not recorded, and then um, not recorded. You have a good night too, love. Thank you for logging on, and I'll be back on again tomorrow night, and we're going to talk about the Clea Halls case. Hey, Sherelle. Sherelle is from St. Louis. She found me on Facebook because when I was uploading my cold cases, she became a fan. And Sherelle, I was just telling them about the cold cases, me getting on every night talking about different cold cases and some of the documentaries that I'm getting ready to start uploading on some cold cases, y'all. The Clea Halls case is one of those cases that we're working on, and also Gerald the mechanic's cold case homicide. And that case I'll be uploading too. That documentary we're almost finished with, so I'll be uploading that documentary. And then there's another case that I'm looking at too. There's another case that I'm looking at. If y'all know of any cases that are cold that y'all know in particular that you all want me to cover, let me know. I don't know how to check my messages on YouTube, child. Thank you, Sherelle. I'm back active on YouTube. Have I seen you on Facebook, Sherelle? Are you still my Facebook friend? Sherelle found me on Facebook, child. Are you still my Facebook friend? Because I don't know if I've seen you on Facebook lately. Because y'all know I got to be more active on Instagram. I don't get on Instagram a lot. It is linked to my phone, but I don't get on Instagram a whole lot. I do ride Facebook quite a bit because I know how to work Facebook. Oh, okay. Well, Sherelle is one of my number one fans, child. She loved my cold case shows. And so we're getting back into that. We're gonna get some of these cases out there and get them solved. We was talking about Young Dolph tonight, Sherelle. I'm getting ready to get off now. Though. We was talking about Young Dolph. We was talking about Young Dolph and his murder and hopefully there will be no more bloodshed in Memphis. Although I feel like it is the calm before the storm. I do believe that there are going to be, once they release the names of those persons who, because it said now that it is believed that one of them is already dead. They're saying that Dolph's brother shot the young man that had the gun running behind the car. That was Dolph's brothers. They're saying that he shot a young man, shot one of the young men, and he was just dropped off at the hospital the same day, unidentified. And they believe that that was a young man that was shot. So I'm sure they wouldn't release his name for people to know who his family is because they don't want any retaliation on the family. So we definitely got to pray for this city because I think it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. But hopefully, um, yeah, Sherelle, I think you might need to do that. Until it wait just wait a little while until some announcements and stuff is made because it's just not good right now. All right, you guys. I love you guys, and I'll be on again tomorrow night, okay? Talk with you later.